prior to Food Spotting, you were at
Drop.io. Before that, the New York Times.
So tell me about the New York Times. So you spearheaded their social media.
Yeah, back in 2007, I was 20.
How'd you get that job? That's
23.
a great job.
It was a great job. It was awesome. I think I got that job because the job didn't exist before I got there, and I was working for a lot of really awesome people who said, you know, take initiative, do your thing, and if you do it well, we'll support it. I'm thinking about people like Marie Gaylord, who was at marketing at Yahoo before the New York Times, and Vivian Schiller, who was the GM at the time. She's now CEO of NPR. These people were amazing, and they said, you know, we need a social media presence. You live and breathe this world. So they had
no, they didn't have a Twitter account, they didn't have all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we started with facebook.com/NYTimes back in 2007, right around the era of Beacon and just thereafter. And we launched a Facebook page that was primarily to speak to, you know, what we assumed were our loyal fans. And then over time we realized that the people who were following us and fanning us on these social platforms were the inverse demographic of the people actually reading the print product, the New York Times. So it became really interesting learning to communicate through new vessels of mediums. And
it's funny, I read the paper New York Times. I mean, you know, I guess I'm showing my age or whatever, like my whole life, and now I don't even go to the website, I just get it all through Twitter.
All through Twitter?
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
Because if it's, you know, well, one is I follow the New York Times, but also like if it's important, it'll get retweeted and.
No, I agree, but no.
I mean, I still sometimes go there. But
in all seriousness, I read the print product this morning, Weekend Arts.
Because I still like. I mean, on Sunday, you know, it's like nice and you can flip through it. And but you know, the New York Times, I think they get a lot of flack, but they've actually been like extremely, I think, forward, sort of, you know, compared to most newspaper sites, like extremely forward thinking.
Yeah, I mean. I'm constantly impressed with what Andrew Day Vagal, who is the multimedia editor of the New York Times, is able to produce. His data visualizations, I think, are better than most, if not any. I actually watch at least 1 or 2 videos every day, and Derry, their executive producer, Emmy award-winning executive producer, produces. So I still drink the Kool-Aid. I love the Times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think one interesting thing, like I was talking to this, I had this meeting with this, I don't know, I won't say who, but it was like this well-known media person who was like, what is this Twitter thing? It was just like recently. and
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah, I won't. But they couldn't get the idea. Like I was like, well, you know, one thing you don't just do is you don't just tweet your own stuff. You also like retweet other stuff, like the whole curation thing.
Yeah.
Like it was something like, which I think like if you compare like, let's say Huffington Post, which just got bought by AOL, which I guess we're in the same building of right now.
Right.
Like they really kind of get that kind of stuff. Like that like half the value of following somebody is their curation, not just their own articles or whatever, right?
And the other half is repurposing, I guess.
Oh, in Huffington Post, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, but just the idea that like that. I think a lot of people think it's like have this mistaken view, like in sort of the old media world, that like Twitter's like what you had for lunch or something, when in fact it's really just an incredibly powerful publishing platform, and one where you can not only sort of just publish your own stuff, but also act as a curator for other content.
Yeah, I would agree. Absolutely. It's why I love Twitter lists. I'm probably one of 5% of the users who actually uses them pretty regularly.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's cool.
My New York New Media list is how I keep informed of most tech trends, that and Tumblr.
Really interesting.
Yeah.